Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the campus of Michigan State University. We're here in the luxurious locker room facilities once again for another press conference. This year it is our beginning of the season press conference for the 2018 NCAA season. It's not yet Big Ten season. That's going to be in about 40 days or so a little over a month. We're going to get into Big Ten competition, but right now we're just getting started with the NCAA preseason. We're going to travel around the country. We're going to visit a lot of interesting and different programs around the nation. But first I want to talk about the offseason. We just had a very interesting offseason. As someone who hasn't coached in the NCAA before, I found this offseason definitely different than what I've experienced before. There's a lot of downtime, a lot of off time for the coaches and the players compared to, the professional ranks, certainly. Now, there's many reasons for that. Number one, NCAA rules. You're not allowed to practice or have competitions outside of, certain times of year, most notably the summer break period. When the kids are on summer vacation, you're not allowed to hold official practices or official games or tournaments or anything like that. It's all, the kids are out there doing their own thing. That's fine. I don't have a problem with that. We had the experimental spring season, and I have to say I like that. I'm very much for that. I think, there's precedence for that in other NCAA sports where they have a split season. They'll have a spring season and a fall season. I think they have that in like track and field. Some other sports have dual seasons. I think NCAA soccer would benefit from that. So if the NCAA is listening, if perhaps the new president and head of the NCAA, Mr. Uncle Sam FM, if he's listening, perhaps he could somehow codify that spring season, maybe make an NCAA spring championship cup tournament. That would be an interesting way to do it. I got some other ideas. For how to make this NCAA experience much better, much tighter. If there's some way to keep every team to signing 10 players or less per season, that would be outstanding. Some of those other teams are out there, they're spending a few too many scholarships on their teams this year. That's sort of breaking the immersion. Also, the recruiting period. We need a much more limited recruiting period. If we could keep it to just a few months, maybe lower the recruiting signing period to just February and March before or during the spring championship. That would be good. You keep, if you have it after February, then it's after the MLS draft, and then your players, you're not going to recruit players and then have them get drafted away by MLS. So that would be nice. Or maybe have two recruiting periods. Have a spring recruiting period and a fall recruiting period. That would also be an option. As I mentioned, keeping them to 10 recruits, 10 transfers, if you will, or less. Also, somehow prohibit the teams from trying to poach players from other NCAA teams. I spent all summer watching all these other NCAA teams try and come for my players, which is against NCAA rules. You can't actively recruit another player who's under scholarship at another team. That's just not kosher. Now, none of my players left for those other teams, which is nice, but they wasted their time, essentially, coming after my players. So if they could only go after players that they're able to get, that would be good, meaning no one who's signed to an NCAA team. And then the other one, limit the age that they can sign. We've already limited them to over 23. You can't sign anybody over 23. How about nobody under 17 would also be a good idea. I mean, we signed a young phenom, but I think, maybe NCAA might look into some rules after this and say, oh my God, look at all these 15-year-olds coming into college. Maybe we should, come up with some rules for that. Okay, so that's my bandstand, my grandstand about NCAA rules. So now let's get into the offseason. Let's take a look at what we did, and then we'll look at our opponent for today's game. So hang on while we pause the press conference. Okay, we're back. We pulled up our off-season schedule here. You see our spring season here in February and March. We had a very successful spring season. A lot of wins over some, smaller non-NCAA teams, some just amateur clubs around the state, essentially. We didn't really have a big enough budget to travel around, or at least, our athletic department wouldn't let us travel around the nation too much. We did make it down to El Paso, so that was good. We got a 4-0 victory down there. We made it out to Austin, Texas. Lost 4-2 there. A lot of our reserve players played back then, but so we're not too upset about that. And then we had an interesting game against the Canadian reserves team, 4-0, the SWE reserves. And, we beat them pretty well. We had some of our big-time players score some big-time goals. We'll take a look at these goals. I got a little highlight package to show you here from the SWE reserves game, the final preseason game, or spring season game that we played before we took our summer break. Here's Torres on the free kick, back post to Green, and then sliding in is Miller. And here we go, Shaheta to Miller again, out wide. Johnstone, the fullback, on the overlap, gets it into Bernard, the striker. A lot of our veteran players are stepping up. Here's Torres on the free kick, slams one in there, showing his ability on the free kicks. And then Jaijun, defensive midfielder, scores on the penalty kick. So a lot of our veteran players are in those highlights, and those are guys that we're going to be counting on this season. If we go to our squad, check out our registration. We have to register for the NCAA season. We have 21 players currently on the roster, all on amateur contracts, of course. We can have a maximum of 30 players on the roster, so that's good. That's what it should be. We don't have any 23-year-olds, so we'll see if anybody graduates next season and leaves us. So we have plenty of room for scholarships next year. We should be able to sign another full class of 9 or 10 scholarships next year, so that would be, give us another good intake of youth. We can take a look at said roster, see how it's playing out right now. This is pretty much our starting lineup. Bjarnson in goal, Eisner, Mamadou Kaba. Actually, Louis Armstrong, the maestro, is probably going to be our starter. And then Matt Green, also central defense. Johnstone at the left back. Jaijun at defensive mid. We're a little thin at defensive midfielder right now. Shaheta taking over central mid. Nielsen, the phenom at right wing. Miller, who I believe is the team captain. Let's take a look at our captains. Who are our captains? Yes, Miller and Torres are our two captains. So there we go for the season, as I, of course, knew. And they are in the center mid and left attacking mid, and then Bernard up top. Now, we did have an interesting offseason in terms of transfers as well. You saw our recruiting special, hopefully. But we did lose a couple of guys over the summer. Some guys signed professional contracts. Tony Dillon, our star right back, signed with Rio Grande Valley. He now has a professional contract. He started his professional career, so he can't come back to college. Good luck to him in his future endeavors. Same with Adrian Villa, guy we just signed in the recruiting period. He got a rather lucrative offer to go to Irapuato. And, he's going to start his professional career. So, again, good luck to those young men. But it does leave us a little short-handed, especially in the midfield. Although Dylan's loss is, significant, but we did sign 2 right backs in this recruiting class. So we're fine with the right back position. It's just a matter of losing his veteran presence in the locker room is a little bit more than we had expected. All right, so that's sort of the off-season in a nutshell. And we can take a look at our opponent for the next week. I mean, it can't be today because we're in the Michigan State locker room and we're playing at Central Arkansas, which is several thousand miles away, and it's not several thousand miles, several hundred miles away, and we don't have a private jet like our basketball team does, so we're gonna have to either bus it down there or more likely we'll just fly coach down there. But anyway, our scouting department, we used up our scouting budget over the summer, unfortunately, so we don't really have a scouting budget anymore, as I mentioned earlier, so we weren't able to scout University of Central Arkansas Bears very well. They do have, fairly full registration. They've got 21 players, same as we do. Got one unhappy fella, that's no good. Lost trust in his coach, apparently, according to the news reports, but we'll see. We'll see if he plays. He's their number 10. That's not good news for them. But anyway, let's take a look at, how about the history of the Central Arkansas Bears. They've got one Missouri Valley Conference tournament win. They founded in 1996. The University of Central Arkansas Bears, they rather memorably tasted Missouri Valley Conference tournament glory in 2017. They play their games at the Bill Stevens Track and Soccer Complex. They possess adequate training facilities, adequate youth facilities, and have an average junior coaching, fairly basic recruitment network, affectionately known as the Bears. Enjoyed success as recently as 2017. Okay. So they play in the Missouri Valley Conference, which I'm familiar with. It is one of the smaller conferences around the nation. But, it has some notable teams in it, which we can't look at currently. But anyway, that's where we're going. That's who we're going to play, and we're going to get to today's game straight away. No messing around. Maybe we'll take a tour of campuses as we go. I don't know if we're going to take a tour of every campus that we visit, but you never know. You never know. We're gonna have fun with some of our campus tours, and we'll see about that. But we're gonna get to the game today. So pause. Okay, we're back, and here we are at the game day preview. Central Arkansas hosting Michigan State University. Central Arkansas are favorites, 6-4 favorites, so they got that home team favoritism. They've got 528 tickets sold of a 1,000-seat capacity, so not a huge stadium that we're going to. But, they got a pretty good crowd there for opening day. Gusty and 66 degrees, fairly nice weather we're having, and, we don't really know much about these guys, so let's just get on to the team selection. You saw our team selection. I think normally Morris would be starting for us at right back, but he is unfit currently, so we're going to go with Eisner at fullback. That's fine. Got a lot of guys lacking match sharpness. We need to, I guess, auto number these guys. 2, 13, 8, 18, 20. That's fine. That's fine. We'll just hand out jerseys right before the game. Just like it's, 8 and under league soccer. Everybody's making their debuts today. Nobody's ever played a game of soccer in their lives, apparently. Pep talk. Let's enjoy the match today. How about that? Yeah, all right. Some people enjoyed that. Like, yeah, sure. We'll go out. We'll have a good time. Nice little stadium they got here, standing out there for the national anthem. And here we are. Central Arkansas in the purple jerseys. We are, of course, in the green and white. Here we go. Starting off NCAA season. It's been a long time since I've played an NCAA sports game. Very excited to have this opportunity. Excited for the kickoff. Let's go, boys. All right, here we go. Free kick. Bernard's taking it right up the middle. Hooks it just over top. That was interesting that Bernard was taking the free kicks. Do I have my free kicks even set up? Set piece takers. Hello. Set piece takers. Free kicks. I guess Bernard does actually have the best free kicking on the team. Yeah. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. All right. 10 minutes in. We don't have extended highlights. Here's Torres. Torres he's the left footer, so he gets it in there from the right-hand side. Yes. That's what we want to see this season. Torres scoring from that right hash mark. There is no hash mark, but you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. Gets it past Howard. Valiant effort. There we go. Up 1-0 on the road. Got to be some road warriors in this early season. We got several road games. De La Cruz has it for Central Arkansas. We got the press going. There's a good steal at midfield. Shaheta getting forward. Nielsen, the young playmaker. What can he do with it? He dives inside, takes a left-footed shot. And not what I was hoping for. He should be a playmaker rather than a scorer. Now Central Arkansas is trying to get through on the counterattack, but Green is there. Reliable, dependable, Mr. Green on the back line. Bjarnson sends it forward to Bernard. He's going to start the attack himself. He should be leading the attack, not starting the attack, but he takes it out wide. Can he get it to the overlapping Johnstone? He does. Back to Torres. Here we go, centering to Shaheda. He's going to shoot that left-footed off the post. Is Shaheda left-footed? Or did he just kick that left-footed? Oops. He is left-footed. Okay. Should probably put him on the left-hand side, but I guess it doesn't really matter at central midfield. Bjarnason sending it downfield. Bernard again wins it back to Miller. Attacking center mid. Gets it out wide to Torres, who's playing a little narrow. Centers to Miller. He's going to take the shot, and he scores. This is too easy. I do feel like we've got a good team. I feel like we've got a very, very good team. I would telestrate this, but I don't know. I don't know that it's worthy of a telestration here. Maybe we could just sort of show off the technology, but I don't think so. We'll wait for a better goal. That's just pass down the middle, boot down the middle. Not a lot to show there on the telestrator. But yeah, like I was saying, I think we've got a very good team. I think we got a team that can really make some noise this year. Now, every team makes it into the Big Ten tournament, from what I understand. So we don't have to worry about making the Big Ten tournament. We just have to worry about what we do once we get there. And that's not uncommon for college tournaments. Basketball tournament is that way. Football doesn't have tournaments. But, a lot of tournaments are that way. Every team, or at least, most of the teams in the league, will make the postseason tournament. Then it's just a matter of winning it that will get you into the NCAA tournament. So we'll see how that works. That's what I'm not sure about. I'm not sure about the selection for the NCAA tournament. Do we have to win it or not? I don't know. We'll see. There's no rankings. They've gotten rid of the college ranking system, apparently, with this new experimental database that we're doing here. So we don't know how we're going to be rated. Maybe we're going to be rated off of this NCAA preseason. Add that to our Big Ten conference season, and maybe that will get us into the NCAA tournament. I don't know. We're going to have to see how that works out. Dressing room, though, it was a good first half. Very pleased. Keep it up. Louis Armstrong has a yellow, the maestro, but other than that, we're looking okay. You know, we got all of our guys in the game who have starting experience, starting contracts, if you will. If this was a professional team. Nielsen taking it inside again. Gets the ball stolen by Garza, but he turns it over immediately to Eisner. Is this a real highlight, or is this just the first half highlight? Just the beginning of the first half highlight. Nielsen again with space. Eisner again with on the overlap. Are we going to get a shot out of this? Yeah, we are going to get a shot out of it, but to no avail. Their fullback, De La Cruz, is not looking very good at all. 6.0 rating. Meanwhile, our ratings are pretty good. Everybody's creeping up there towards a 7.0 or better rating. Miller and Torres, of course, leading the way with their goals and assists and 8.2 rating. Armstrong is booked. Okay, we'll tell him to ease off. Here's Johnstone throwing it into Miller. Torres back out to Johnstone. He goes wide. He sends it in. Bernard chests it down. Going to have to reset the offense here with Green. Got everybody else has gone forward. Shajun to Torres. Gets it forward to Miller. Shaheda up to Eisner again on the overlap. Get it forward. He gets it to Nielsen, and there's the young man scoring. That might be telestrator worthy. We'll bust out the telestrator on that one, depending on how far back they go on the highlight. All right, so here we go. Let's pull up the telestrator, see what we can show you here. So here's Miller. Makes a pass over. Then we get it out wide to the fullback. Dribbles inside. Gets it in the middle to our young winger, who scores. Pretty good. Pretty nice play. You know, you can see the flow, how we want to run this offense. We want to get the ball out wide because our fullbacks are overlapping. Our wingers are coming down. And, you know, we have our main striker in the middle causing all kinds of havoc. And that's kind of what we want to do. Get the midfielders to get possession of the ball and get it out wide. All right. Let's clear that and get back to the game. Hello. Back to the game. Yeah, there we go. So there it is. Miller to Shaheda to Eisner. Eisner gets it forward to Nielsen. He rates the goal. Way to go, young man. First goal of his young career. The Wonder Kid. So that's 60 minutes in. And we can sub as many times as we want. That's the rules in NCAA. You can do 12 subs. I don't know how many we'll actually use. I think, being up 3, we can bring in Mohamedou for Armstrong. Get that yellow card out of there. We do have a problem at midfielder. We essentially have one substitute at central midfield, Portugal. Portugal, luckily, he can play attacking center mid or mid, and he can also be retrained as defensive mid. So that's what we're doing right now. We're retraining him as defensive midfielder. So he's more valuable right now as a substitute coming off the bench, but it's hard to bring him in because right now I'd like to bring him in for Jaijun, but if I do that and one of the other midfielders get hurt or something, then we're sort of stuck in the way of midfielder. We'll switch to a different formation, I guess. But we'll save that for a few minutes. We'll let him run a few minutes. Let Jaijun maybe get down to 69% or something like that. Montenegro to Garcia. Central Arkansas trying to blast it forward. Johnstone is there. Good play. Good play. Torres now is going to start the attack for the Spartans. Down the near sideline. Plenty of space. He's not in a big hurry, though, until he just bombs it forward to Bernard with the header just wide. Bernard, again, sneaking in between 3 defenders to get ahead on that ball. It's pretty good. 67 minutes, and we're getting some more highlights here. Johnstone wins the header, but Central Arkansas recovers it. The Bears trying to build an attack at home. They don't want to go down 3-0 at home. Go down in defeat anyway, 3-0 at home. They want to get one back. They're sending one forward to Williams, but he can't get there. Bjarnason, the young freshman goalkeeper, playing like a veteran out there, just bombs it forward. Oh, a misstep on the back line. Crispin, though, is there. Crispin. Oh, no, he's not. Bernard takes advantage of it. Centers to Miller, just over the bar. Let's give the boys a concentrate out there and tell them, you're winning, but let's not take it for granted here. They can come back. Torres to Miller. They're playing well back defensively, giving us the midfield, essentially. Look at all that space in the midfield. Nielsen out wide. There's the overlap coming from the fullback position, but he don't care. He's just going to shoot it. And that's fine. He is our most talented player. We kind of want to give him a little bit of creative freedom, as young as he is. Don't want to stifle his productivity. That was not a great corner kick. Also like to take advantage of their right fullback, who's having a terrible game. De La Cruz, still below 6.0 rating. The rest of their defense isn't much better. Here we are, throw in by Eisner. Miller gathers it in, sends it in for Bernard, but it's intercepted. Good tackle in the midfield there, but Central Arkansas retains possession. They're going in the wrong direction. Just sort of a searching pass downfield for nobody at all. Seems they are just stuck in a intense defensive shell. They are not coming out of it. We should probably change our team instructions then to slightly lower tempo and do some time wasting, I think. If they're just going to hand us this game, we might as well just take it, right? There's no point in stretching this out further than it needs to be. We'll take our 3-0 victory home from Arkansas. It's a long plane ride, fellas. Might as well get this over with as quickly as possible. Williams sends one in, back posts. Bjagojevic. Oh, boy. I'm glad that guy's not on our team. I don't want to say that name. All right. Oh, wait. I didn't mean to skip that. I was trying to go to the telestrator on that one. Proceed with the tactical changes. Yes. Let's make some substitutions. Let's take Shaheda out of there. Bring in Portugal. No. We'll bring Jaijun out of there. He's the more tired. See, look at that. He's tired and Miller is tired. But I have also been training Nick Vargas, young freshman striker. I've been training him up. He's the pressing forward, but I've been training him as attacking midfielder. So we'll bring him in for Miller. Make those substitutions. Now, he's more of a goal-scoring threat than Miller, but he's not necessarily the maestro. There's Green on the header, over top. Don't know if... Yeah, he was offside anyway, so it didn't really matter, but got to get those set pieces down. Torres playing very well, 9.0 rating. Bernard not playing too well, but we don't need to sub him out at the moment unless we want to just get some of our young guys in there. Shaheda at midfield, only a 6.4 rating. I probably would have subbed him out if we had more midfielders, but we've only got one midfielder. And that's what we're stuck with. We can't go out and get any more because that's how it works in college. Kaba heads it wide. Like, you get your recruiting class and that's it. You can't go out and just sign players, right? You have to give them scholarships. And there's only certain times of the year you can do that. So we're not going to do it out of season. We're not going to break NCAA rules. I mean, we were skirting the line in terms of all the friendlies that we played this year. That's like we were borderline breaking NCAA rules with all those friendlies. So I don't want to flagrantly break the rules by signing players, out of season. So if we don't get any walk-ons, if there aren't any walk-ons on campus that can come in and play for us, then, we got who we got, and we just have to deal with it, and that's fine. That's college sports for you. All right. Passionate, very pleased. Well done. I mean, they got that one goal on the counterattack that was a little upsetting. I think I'd yell at them for that in real life, but on the road, I think we're fine. So there we are, non-conference Group 1. Got an interesting selection of teams from around the nation. Penn University from, of course, Pennsylvania. Campbell. I'm not sure where Campbell is from. Campbell is from where? Where do they reside? Buies Creek, North Carolina. Who do they... Okay. Interesting. I don't think I've ever heard of Campbell before. The Camels. Oh, wait, I have heard of them. The Campbells. Yes, I have heard of them before. Boston University. Of course, Boston. Elon University. I've heard of them. I forgot where they're at. Incarnate Word. We looked at them before. I've definitely never heard of them, but they are a real university. Portland. Of course, you probably know where they are. They're probably in Portland. St. John's University from New York. The Red Storm. New York, the City University of New York. Not exactly, but in terms of sports, they're the City University of New York. UMBC, University of Maryland, Baltimore County. So I guess you can pretty much guess where they're from. There's Central Arkansas, and there's Rhode Island University. So we got a wide swath of teams from all over the country in our group. It's going to be an interesting season. Take a look at the schedule real quick. So up next we have Penn University at home. Penn is usually a pretty good soccer program. Take a look. They have 7 Ivy League championships. So they're, a pretty good program. We'll see how they play. They're usually good in most sports, honestly, at least for their level. They're an Ivy League team, so they're not usually competing with the big boys of the NCAA. But they can compete in some of these smaller sports like soccer and lacrosse and stuff like that. But anyway, they're going to give us a good game, I'm sure. We'll try to get a team report on them, I guess. Team report. Sure, let's hope that did it. And, oh, by the way, we did get a couple of new staff members. Can we look at them under transfers? I think there's a transfer history for staff, right? Yeah, there is. So we lost several staff members. The guys we let go earlier, of course, our previous head coach, gone. Ryan Garcia, the assistant coach, we let go. Francisco Valenciano Torres, our chief scout, we let him go after, the spring season. Same with Devin King, our head physio. Then we signed Tomas Redzinski as a chief scout. He lasted for about a month before he got signed by Tampa Bay. So he went professional like several of our players went professional. So we, of course, signed that goalkeeping coach we were talking about, 33-year-old Jose Ramirez. Another determined, disciplined coach, what we've been looking for. He's a good motivator. He's, pretty much one of the best goalkeeping coaches in the nation. 9 handling, 7 distribution, 7 shot stopping. So he's going to give us a big boost for all these young goalkeepers that we have. He's been training with us very well. We hired a head of youth development, a guy who's going to handle, scouting a lot of the young players around the country. He's, of course, 48 years old, Dominic Gautrat. He's good at working with youngsters. He's got some adaptability, so he can go around the country. He's pretty good at judging players. Of course, that's what we need in that kind of staff member. And then Chief Scout, of course, we saw Tomas Radzinski, who was actually a pretty good scout. Very good in terms of adaptability, determination, judging player ability, potential. By far the best scout in the country. That's probably why, or at least, at the college level. And that's why Tampa Bay came in and plucked him. And so for his replacement, we got a physio, Craig Devine. We needed a physio, of course. And we got one of the best. This guy is really good. 18 physio, 18 adaptability. He's even a determined coach. Look at that. We're focusing on that. We want determined coaches so that we'll have determined players. I don't know if the physio will affect that at all, but why risk it, right? Why risk him bringing down our average determination? He actually had previously been with the Columbus Crew. He was unemployed, and now he's come to college. So we do have to find another chief scout, and I think we have one on the way, possibly, transfer center. No, we don't. I thought we did, but we'll fill that vacancy in the offseason, I suppose. We don't really need to scout much right now other than to scout our opponents, and we don't really have the budget to do much else. So, I guess that's it. We're going to come back I guess we'll start doing 2 games because we're not going to have press conferences every time. We'll come back for Penn University and St. John's. Maybe we can take a look at the St. John's campus and show you the difference between Michigan State and St. John's. It's hilarious in terms of campus. But, yeah, so that's it. We're going to come back. See you then. Bye-bye.